One of the main questions that's been on the tips of everybody's tongues and on the minds of everybody within the gaming industry is, where does Nintendo go from here? And it's a million-dollar question, a completely loaded question, but one that's worth asking. You figure, since the unfortunate and unforeseen death of Iwata that nobody saw coming at all, and I mean, these effects are being felt everywhere, throughout the entire industry, to fans, everybody. Everybody is absolutely in shock and in mourning of passing of somebody like that. But when you take a step back and you look at the even bigger picture, you have to wonder, where does a multi-billion-dollar video game enterprise such as Nintendo go from here on out? Nintendo's only had 4 presidents, so this isn't exactly a seat that's given up frequently. And they always invest for the long haul anytime that they put somebody into the position of CEO for Nintendo. And it's a scary question to ask. It's even an uncomfortable question to ask. Iwata meant so much to everybody, and now he's not around anymore, and the actual direction of the company is going to be called into question. The future of the company is going to be called into question, and who's able to go and take those reins and fulfill all the obligations and all the duties that he was prior. You know, there's so many things to take into account. I mean, I was all over the place with this because it was something that I was discussing with friends ever since this was announced. You know, it's scary to think that he's not around, but Nintendo is a multi-billion-dollar business, so they still have to keep going. Now, right now, as it stands, Takeda and Miyamoto are supposed to be sharing any of the responsibilities that he had. So they're going to be taking those on in addition to all of their other responsibilities until someone is officially announced. If I was willing to wager a guess, I'm assuming that they're going to promote from within just like they did with Iwata. It makes the most logical sense that they would do that just because Nintendo's that kind of a company. They want to promote from within because it's somebody that they've obviously invested a lot of time and stock into and knows the company in and out. So they can actually trust them to go and take on that position. Now, it's been rumored and discussed that Miyamoto more than likely is the frontrunner for this position and kind of a no-brainer in many people's eyes, considering that this guy is kind of the face of the company in many ways. You know, a lot of people would argue that Iwata is, but Miyamoto is very well known, if not even more so well known, only because of the fact that he's responsible for some of the biggest franchises and game characters that we've ever seen. Respected, revered, loved, just like Iwata is. You know, there's a lot of similarities between those two. You know, they're both creative people, and they started from the bottom and moved their way up within the gaming world. That's how they got to where they were. They earned it. So to have Miyamoto in there, for a lot of people, makes a lot of sense, but the question that I ask, and this isn't even me taking a jab at him or anything, so do not go and try to get this confused, but being a CEO and being a creative genius within the world of gaming are 2 different things. You know, this is a skill set that very few people can claim to have, let alone be able to do very well and be dedicated at. Miyamoto right now is still tasked with looking over tons of different games and being responsible for a lot of different development teams, and is even a hands-on guy. If he goes and takes on the position role of CEO, he, at best, like Iwata, will become an executive producer, at most, just because he's going to have too many other things for him to go and do on his checklist, day in and day out. Whoever they get to fill in the spot is also somebody that the shareholders and investors are going to have faith in as well. You know, this is something that the company is going to be scared shitless to make an attempt with. You know, you can't just go and hire some random jokester that has a good resume and bring them in, because they could completely devalue the face of the company and everything that they stand for, and you don't need anything like that. It just corrupts everything and rots from the inside, and you don't want that. You know, and I've also thought about whoever they get in and put them as the leader of this company. This could actually change the entire face of who they are, because they could decide to do a complete 180 and steer the ship in a different direction. Like, you know what? We've tried all these things here. We're going to start fresh, new slate, new year, and we're going to go this way. You know, and it gets even scarier than that, because Nintendo's in a big transitional state right now. They're jumping on board and signing deals to go and do things in the mobile market, something that for them was absolutely unheard of. You know, the idea of it unprecedented. You would never actually hear anybody mention that. Nintendo had even went on record multiple times, no less, and said that they would not, only because they had so much invested into the handheld market, and they figured that that would be, it would conflict with one another. But now they're going and doing something like that. With the NX on the horizon, you know, we already know that they're creating that. So mobile and console transitions, that's big. And we don't know exactly what else they're going to be doing with the 3DS. I can't imagine that they have a successor to the 3DS just yet, and they don't have any plans for it anytime soon, because, let's face it, the 3DS is still doing just fine. So there's essentially no need for that. But after all the events of this console generation, you know, there's a lot to think about. And whoever goes to task to take on the role of CEO and be the leader of Nintendo and lead them on to the next console generation and to the next however many years that they're going to be there, they have to be able to go and kind of showcase to everybody, have faith and trust in me, because I'm going to right all the wrongs that anybody may have ever cared about or complained about. And it's just, what are they going to bring new to the table that wasn't being done before? Or what things are they going to say, you know what, Iwata had this as the standard, and it was 100% right, and I'm going to continue to build upon that and do it just as well. They have to be able to do that. Who the hell can they get? You know, I don't mean to put a lot of focus on Miyamoto previously in discussion, but he was one of the only people that was even being mentioned. You know, a couple of people had tossed around Reggie Fils-Aime's name, but that definitely will not happen. He's got Nintendo of America, that is really it. Him being the leader of the entire company just wouldn't work. It's a Japanese company, you know, so I don't think it would work quite like that. Do they have a lot of faith in him? Obviously, he's the freaking president of Nintendo of America, so it'd be kind of redundant to ever think that. But there's so many people that work there, and I'm sure many of them have leadership qualities and great business ideas, but can they take on that role? Who the hell can go and do that? And how long are they going to have all the responsibilities split up between two people? You know, I don't expect them to immediately crown somebody else with the position, but they also can't just sit on their hands for a long period of time, because then that's going to worry tons of people that they don't know what to do, or they're too scared to take the next step. And if a company is too scared to go and do that, it might end up coming off that they have no focus at all. When you lack leadership, what do you do then? You might put out great products, but if you're not putting them out in the right way, or the right people aren't being overseen or being told what to do, and if the right hands aren't being shaken to go and make the next business, you know, endeavor go and come to fruition, then what the hell? You know, it's a lot of worrisome stuff, and it's an uncomfortable conversation to go and have. You know, we lost somebody that was way too important to the industry, whether anybody knew it or not. You know, there was a lot to appreciate from Iwata while he was around, but whenever you see that after his passing, that's not there anymore. But his example is. And that's one of the things that it's horrifying, because it's like you have to go and fill those shoes. You know, if there is anybody to do it, Miyamoto is like one of the only people I can think of. If they get somebody young to go in there, I'm talking like somebody at least like in their like 40s, maybe even 50s, to go and take the spot, because Miyamoto's 62. years of age, and people even talked about that he was retiring. So that's actually something else to take into account. You know, 4 presidents in, who the heck can you go and take on that role and is able to really, like, roll with it? Anyway, I'm sure everybody's got their opinions and thoughts on it, from all the development staff, first and second party, who the heck they can just push up the ranks. Either way, comment section, you already know what to do, and I'll go and conclude this video. Like always, nerds, nerdettes, and gamers, game the fuck on!